Now, for example, the DVLA is set to begin, from the 1st of July. Today is the 22nd of July. They want to, clamp down on unregistered excavators. I don't know how they're going to do that and how that is going to help against the fight in terms of the Galamsey fight. We know that, for example, the president has directed the investigation of some some political, persons. We can mention Yamin and Banga and all that. Yeah. Some people have the view that why say investigate? Why not arrest them? We know of Wuntumi, who was also arrested in connection with some allegations of what do you call it, Galamsey operations. As we speak, I don't know where we are with it, but at least some arrest was made and maybe some investigations are ongoing. You mentioned the blue water guards. We know the fight, that the IGP and the police have waded into the Galamsey fight right now. All these things, are they not signs of a committed president to fight and win a Galamsey fight?
Thank you, Dave. I'm not saying they have not made an effort. With respect to who? With respect to the old administration. So if you say the effort made is with respect to the old administration, then fair. But can we quantify the percentage of, let's say, land reclamation or percentage of the total problem that we want to solve? How much has been accomplished with regard to the effort that you have discussed? Can you put a value on it? For me, if you put them together, they are less than 10%. If I look at, because saying it and getting it done are different things. If it is done, then that, how much result it yielded. As we speak, from the land, the minister, Honorable Amakofibua, indicated that we have about 7,000 hectares of the forest reserved completely gone. Do you know what that means? And so, let him come and say, the effort I have put in, it has yielded a percentage of this complex job. This.
Give us a certain metrics to measure.
Exactly. But just rhetorics, for me, like I said, doesn't achieve anything. That's why I describe it as an emotional blackmail. Because only just say this, say that to, emotionally, tickle us was the basis of that statement. And so it has not achieved. And of course, I commend Ghana Police, especially the IGP. I have seen some videos where his men, go around and try to stop some of these things. But we need holistic approach that will stamp it out.
And that's why you talk about policies that you'd want, concrete policies to be rolled out. Now, one of the things that, in terms of the pledges that the president talked about, then, flag bearer, then President, hopeful, in 2024 said, and when he met with you people, in terms of the pledges, he talked about, state of emergency. And that's one of the things that, UTAG is also calling for. When you talk about state of emergency, what exactly are you looking for? How should we roll it out? I'm asking this again, having at the back of my mind that I have heard some people say that when we declare a state of emergency, there should also be a shoot to kill, approach. There should be this. How should we roll that one out? The LI, is it 2462? That also is supposed to make sure that people don't go into mining the forest area to mine. The repeal of it is still hanging. How do you expect the a state of emergency to be carried out or to be rolled out? When do you expect it to be done?
You see, who first suggested even the state of emergency? Last year, it was organized labor. I mean, some of the unions then suggested the state of emergency. And indeed, the president also affirmed the state of the emergency.
Present then or present now?
No. I mean, our president now.
Okay.
Who did not proceed. Then affirmed it. On what basis did he affirm it? And so now, if you ask me, how should that be rolled out? What I do understand is that that state of emergency he himself committed to, because he has the state forces, it is the state forces who determine the kind of rollout that needs to be done. But nevertheless, it will then temporarily hold the activities over there in check. So if the security apparatus thinks that shoot to kill is the best to go, I don't have a problem with it. But if you still
will endorse that?
I don't have a problem with it. I said I don't have a problem with it because some people must die for majority. If you go into the Bible, many people were killed for the survival of Israel. King David did that. He went to war and killed people. So if 10 people, 20 people would die for the survival of the million, why not? I don't have a problem with that.
So you talked about organized labor and their stance last year. And I remember that they threatened to go on strike. All organized labor decided to go on strike last year. And then I was excited about it. But unfortunately, that excitement was
fizzled out.
When I even spoke to Ken Ashigbe on radio, and Ken told us on radio that there were discussions behind the scenes, that people have met with organized labor, having discussions behind the scenes. And he purported that there were chances of people's hands being greased and that they would not carry along their threat.
I see.
And then interestingly, indeed, we were expecting that organized labor would carry its threats but on the 10th of October 2024, but they did not. They called it off because, well, they said they had received some assurances from the government then, and that was enough for them to call off the strike. Your decision right now, if we had carried that strike last year by organized labor, wouldn't we have been able to have told government and successive governments that, listen, organized labor mean business, and so therefore stick to it? Wouldn't we have been at a better stage than where we are right now? Number two, how far is UTAG prepared to go with this threat on industrial action? So the two questions in one.
Thank you very much, Dave. Just give me some time to highlight this. Last year, we were at just the threshold. We were at the threshold of winning the war. Unfortunately, we lost it. When we had gotten the entire organized labor willing for us to embark on that nationwide action, that was the moment. If they had not chickened out, trust me, it would have compelled the administration then to act and act decisively. But we lost that chance. Nevertheless, UTAG chose to continue. In our battle, of course, we were, attacked from different quarters because people thought we were being political. And we said, no, we're just pursuing a course. If the course stops, we will stop. But if it doesn't stop, we will continue. That's why we're having this conversation today. But unfortunately, people have forgotten what UTAG stood for.
I remember when organized labor at the time called off the strike threat, UTAG still said no, they will still go on. The fact that organized labor then chickened out, doesn't that also tell you that aside from governments that don't seem willing to win this fight, Ghanaians themselves are not willing to help us win this fight by chickening out?
Let me give you some example. There's a kind of ants I've observed. They are not many. You see them in a queue, maybe you count them about 20, 30 in numbers. Remove the first one, you see that the rest will scatter.
The scatter, yeah.
I don't know whether you observed that kind of ant. The same thing happened with that of the organized labor. It was the leadership that frustrated Ghanaians. Ghanaians were ready to embark on it because they had seen the effect of the Galamsey. And so it was unfortunate that organized labor went on that tangent. This time, UTAG is not losing its boot. But my challenge is not only UTAG, but even to the young people of this country, that they will join this. They shouldn't be thinking because of my certificate, because of my degree. Having a degree and having no country, and having no degree, and having a country, I think this is the best. We have history by student in 1984 when our cocoa beans were being rotten in the village. It was student who sacrificed to go and bring those cocoa beans back to the port. So what I'm trying to say is that the future of this country is about the young people. These older folks that have power and they don't want to exercise it for the betterment of these young people who come in, they should see these old people as threat to their future.
They should see the old people now as a threat to their future.
To their future, because they have the power to solve the problem and they are not solving. So what are they telling the young people? So the young people must rise up.
How far is UTAG prepared to